Yes. May I ask you some questions?
Yes. All right.
I did speak to you last time about consciousness, and I have found that still problems arise to do with the understanding of consciousness. There are so many, teachers that say that Buddha's teaching is the same as the Hindu teaching. There are lots of teachers that say this. They say that Buddha's teaching is similar to the teaching of Vedanta. They say that consciousness is the only reality, and that there is no individual self or soul, only pure unchanging consciousness.
No, it is not unchanging. According to Buddhism, consciousness rises up and vanishes. And again it rises up and vanishes. It's not the same consciousness. It's a series of consciousness. A stream of consciousness, not one same thing. But as regards Vedantics, there is permanent
consciousness.
As regards with us, it is impermanent. It is it is every instant. In two consecutive moments, you are not the same person.
No.
Because there is no same consciousness.
No.
What we call consciousness is not one same thing. It is a stream of happenings.
I see. Yes. Is that consciousness dependent upon sight, touch, taste?
Yes, upon senses.
Yes.
Upon senses.
Without senses, consciousness does not exist?
Well, according to the Buddhist teachings, there are 6 senses.
Yes.
The inner sense, it is called the mind element, we call it.
Yes.
There is mind element. It is also not the same. Every time it is changing. That's the inner sense.
I see.
Whenever an object enters through senses, it affects that inner mind element.
I see, like vibrates.
Yes. It vibrates.
Yes.
Then that the inner mind element, it gives way.
Yes.
And that inner thought process absorbs that object, that sense object. Then depending on that, new thoughts begins to rise up.
Yes.
New types of consciousness,
I see.
good or bad.
Yes.
One after another, they go on.
Yes.
Then whenever that object disappears from the thought process, then again that former mind element recurs.
Yes.
The same kind of consciousness recurs. It is called subconsciousness, subliminal passive consciousness, we call it.
Consciousness. I see. Yes.
So there are 6 kinds of consciousness. 5 sense consciousness and the active, some active consciousness,
Yes.
or subconscious mind active, and under them, when it is not active, it falls back, it subsides to the passive state. In this passive state, without taking any outer object, that original mental element called subliminary passive consciousness begins to flow till it is disturbed by some outer object.
Yes.
This inner, that mental element, what we call mental element, is nothing but that passive consciousness is nothing but the birth consciousness recurring.
I see. Yes.
In our birth, the first consciousness rises up.
Yes.
Whenever we don't get any outer object, the same thing recurs, but we don't call it rebirth consciousness, because at that time we call it linking consciousness, because thought process is linked
I see.
without leaving a gap.
Yes, I see.
By that consciousness. Just like, now for example, let's take a cup. The cup is, we don't see anything there, but cup is full of air. That is natural. When we pour some water into it, that air is gone. But if the water is thrown away, again, naturally the cup is full of air. Likewise, that natural consciousness, which is the birth consciousness, it recurs whenever any outer object doesn't disturb the thought process, thought stream.
Yes.
So there is no consciousness which is permanent here. It is a stream of units of consciousnesses.
Like grains of sand.
Yes. Now, for example, it is compared with a stream. A stream is, though it appears as one same thing, it is a series of drops of water.
Yes.
Water units. But so in a certain order, they come and pass away, so that you don't see any gap.
No. Happens so quickly.
Yes, so quickly, so rapidly.
Yes.
Likewise, without any gap, the process of the thought units rise up and vanish very rapidly, leaving no gap.
Okay.
Yes, that's the way. The reality is there. Reality of the flow, not a static thing there.
Not a static thing. Because it has been said quite often that to observe change, there must be something that doesn't change.
Yes.
But
it is said,
yes,
the whole world consists of two things. The consciousness accompanied by its allied qualities and the matter.
Yes.
Matter and mind, we may call it.
Mind and matter, yes.
Mind, matter. Apart from this, there is no world, there is no universe.
No.
But all these things are conditioned.
Yes.
Every material thing is conditioned. Every thought or consciousness is conditioned. The conditioned things cannot be permanent. According to the condition, because depending on condition, they rise up and vanish up. So all the things in that which condition them, they also are conditioned.
Yes.
So even among the things which condition other thoughts to rise up or other matter to rise up are not permanent.
No.
Therefore nowhere in the world a thing permanent.
No.
If there is, but all these things are impermanent. The whole world is impermanent. But there is its opposite side, which is not seen through them, but against them we have to see and think of it. The opposite state is permanent. If there is impermanent, there must be something permanent. It is neither of these impermanent things.
No. But
we call it nirvana.
Nirvana, yes. Could you say that is nirvana is pure consciousness?
It is not consciousness, because consciousness is a thing conditioned.
Always conditioned.
Yes. Every consciousness is conditioned. So nirvana can't be called conscious or unconscious. Because if you think conscious, if you say it is conscious, conscious of what? There must be something as its object.
Yes.
A consciousness is a thing which takes an object. Without an object, there is no consciousness.
Because the Hindus, the Vedanta,
Yes.
has analysed and
Yes.
said that all this is changing. The
Yes.
body changes, the mind changes, but behind it all
Yes.
is
They call it Satchidananda.
yes,
Satchidananda is there.
pure consciousness.
So they
Yes.
try to use some terms the word to express that state. So they call it Sat. Sat is right, existing.
Yes.
Chit, conscious. So if you ask, conscious of what? What is the object?
Yes, I see.
So you can call it in this way, if you use a common language of the common people, I mean conventional language, a consciousness of itself, you can call it. Another joy. So nirvana also is somewhat like that.
Yes, I see. Yes, yes.
You can't call it consciousness, I mean, in the way that we
term things.
we interpret consciousness. Now we explain consciousness as a thing which takes an object in the world.
Yes.
In that way, we can't call it consciousness.
No,
Nibbana.
no.
In that sense.
I see.
So you can't find a term. When Buddha was asked, he was silent mostly because people, you can't use a term of the world, a positive term of the world to express Nibbana. If you try to explain it through positive terms, again you turn Nibbana back to the world.
Ah, yes, yes, you reverse it.
Reverse it.
Yes.
So entire Buddha said, where there is some unmade,
Uncreated.
uncreated,
Yes.
Unborn, a state. If there is no such thing, there is no hope for the beings who are subject to changed, created, made
Yes.
beings.
Yes.
As there is such a thing, the beings who are subject to this changed and all these things, they have hope.
Yes. Yes, of course.
And in another place it is said, I can't exactly remember the place, a certain sister, a nun, was met by King Ajatasattu or somebody. The king came to her and asked the question, can you explain to me the nature of the person I have perfectly passed away to Nibbana? That means an arahant, a holy person, perfect holy person when he dies after death.
Yes.
What is his state? Buddhas or arahants are called holy persons who have attained to perfections.
Yes.
So, what is their nature? Then that nun asked the king, have you in your office any accountants? Yes, there are many, he said. Can they count the drops, the number of the drops of water in the ocean? So no, it is impossible. Why? Because it is so vast. But vaster is the nature of an arahant after his death.
Yes.
He
Yes,
said.
I see.
Then immediately he ran to the Buddha and told him of their talk, of their discussion. Then the Buddha said, suppose if you would have come to me straight away without going to her, I also would give the same answer. She is very learned. She is right, the Buddha said. By the terms of the word, you can't explain it, he said.
Impossible to explain.
It's impossible.
Yes.
In Sutta Nipada, in a certain place, it is said, Paramiputassa, na pamanamati, something like that. That means there is no measure. That means immeasurable is the state of the arahant who has passed away to perfect Nibbana.
I see. Yes. Yes. Yes.
So, by these terms, that Nibbana is explained, though in negative terms, as something not something indescribable, using the terms of the world. Because the terms of the world are coined for the things people have found out,
Yes.
people use. So with these terms, you can't explain positively a thing with which they have no experience.
I suppose if a man teaches and tries to explain enlightenment,
Yes.
he cannot be enlightened because
Yes.
because there is no way to explain it. Yes. It must be just on the mind's level, intellectual.
There are some things you can understand by talking,
Yes.
by words.
Yes.
The thing experienced by all people,
Yes.
and that can be have already experienced. Such things you can explain. Because there are so many illustrations in the world. But a thing which belongs to that beyond nature, beyond world, which you have not experienced, you can't use a term for that to make them understand by mere talk, by mere word. That's why the Buddha said, if you want to understand what it is, try to experience it. When you come to the level of understanding, first you have to realize the exact nature of the world as it is. When you realize perfectly the nature of the world, then your mind's eye is open to the world.
Yes.
To see it as it really is.
Yes.
Then, as your mind's eye is open to that, to the other side you can turn that same developed eye, mind's eye, then you see. It is just like a man in the darkness, born in darkness, grown up in darkness,
Yes.
has no experience of light, but if such a person is guided towards light, when he passes the limit of the darkness and come to the boundary at which even the beacon light, even a slight light, even a hazy light is to appear, then very slightly he experiences the slight light there, hazy light.
I see. Yes.
Just he is at the boundary, he is nearing the boundary of the light. So then he experiences it then. Then it itself becomes the guide. At that time, after that, you are not needed any guide.
No.
Up to that moment, a guide is necessary.
Yes.
But after that, after you experience that hazy light, then what you have to do is just to go further, nearer towards them. Then you see it. Then you experience it. Then you know what it is. Up to that moment, while you are in the thick darkness, you can't be explained by word what light is.
No. Yes. And it's only through Vipassana that one can experience this. This Vipassana was unique to the Buddha. No other teachers came across Vipassana.
Other teachers taught a kind of meditation that's called samatha.
Samadhi. Was it Samadhi?
Samadhi.
Yes.
Develop a mind to develop so that your mind is fixed on some sort of given object.
Yes.
What they call nibbana, also an imagined thing, a concept.
A concept. Yes. That's as far as the Samadhi can take one.
Yes.
To a concept.
Yes. Concept.
But the Vipassana is...
Vipassana is not a concept. No. You have to see it with your mind's own. First, that is, you have to realize conditioned things as conditions. You have to see with your mind's own eye, not by hearing, not by learning. That knowledge that you gather by reading books or by hearing other talks, knowledge about impermanence and so on, that is a borrowed knowledge.
Yes.
That's why the Buddha said, don't take a thing merely because it is given in the scriptures, merely because somebody has told you, your teacher has taught you, merely because it is handed down by tradition. Don't take it. If you want to realize truth, do it by yourself.
Yes.
Try to realize by yourself. That is with regard to these things.
Yes. In the Vedanta teaching, they teach that also that this world, all these tables, chairs, my body and mind, really are unreal, don't exist, but what does exist is consciousness, that this is consciousness.
That's there, but Buddhist teaching is different in that case.
It is different.
Well, these are real actually.
Yes.
As conditioned things, they are real.
I see. What makes them up? The elements.
It is not illusion. This is not illusion. According to Vedanta, the whole world is illusion. Brahma is the only reality.
Yes.
But according to Buddhism, it's not so. These are real as conditioned things.
Yes.
If this is illusion, and these are mere appearances, we have nothing to do with them. Let illusion be illusion. Why do we worry about it?
Yes.
But suppose there is a pain in my body. If it is illusion, why should I try to cure it?
It does really matter.
Yes.
Yes. When I had my stone in my kidney, that mattered. Yes, it wasn't an illusion.
So, some people mistake this Vedanta teaching for Buddhist idea. That their illusion idea is not accepted by Buddha.
May I ask that...
well, there is delusion with us. Because of delusion, we take conditioned things for unconditioned conditions.
So the difference is Vedanta teaches illusion.
Yes.
Buddha teaches delusion.
Delusion.
Yes. So many people try, especially the Hindu teachers, they try to say that Buddha and Vedanta taught the same thing, but they are very, very different.
No,
very different.
But apparently, because of the wording, similar ideas, there are apparently only, superficially, there is some similarity. But when you go deeper, you find the difference. Because the Vedanta is a later invention. That means it is a Shankaracharya who produced a teaching called Vedanta. Before that there was no such teaching. There were Upanishads.
Yes.
And the Shankaracharya, he was brought up as a page boy in a Buddhist temple. He learned Buddhism there, Buddhist philosophy. Very clever fellow. And his teacher was a Buddhist monk. His teacher's teacher also was a Buddhist monk.
I didn't know.
So, he learned Buddhist philosophy thoroughly. And depending on Buddhist philosophy, borrowing the ideas of Buddhist philosophy, then he gave a new light to explain. Through that light, he began to explain Vedantic Atman theory. That's how he formed the present Vedantic teaching. Therefore, there is much similarity in wording, in way of expression, much similarity. But if you go deeper, you find the difference.
I suppose, really, if one had seen the truth, one would know there was a difference.
Yes, and as regards the moral side, both are the same.
Yes.
I mean, the moral conduct.
Oh, yes.
And the practicing of meditation, concentration, so far they are similar.
Yes.
Because on the same background, all these teachings grow up.
Yes, anicca is similar.
Yes, and in Vedanta also you are taught anicca of the physical body. To some extent they have borrowed anicca of the consciousness and mind. And then they say behind mind there is something. It is not anicca. They try to see something permanent behind this thing. They call it nirvana or Brahma nirvana or oneness or universal soul or something. It is their imagination. They imagine it. Yes. And their practice of meditation is this. First they imagine that oneness everywhere there is something, life, apart from this mental, physical process. They imagine something. after long imagination they can handle it. Then they try to become one with it. That is their path of development. By that also they come to a kind of concentration on imagined things, which you find in our samatha also, but in different way. It is called Akasananchayatana, Vijnananchayatana, and so on. It is included in our samatha. Because we also imagine something to develop our concentration, to make it subtle. We get the subtle object, that is infinite consciousness.
Yes. But it is still changing. Still infinite consciousness.
That is samatha.
Yes.
It is a concept.
A concept?
It is a concept. You can concentrate your mind on that concept.
Yes.
But Buddha criticized it. Buddha said, well, a person who has got it, he can concentrate. He is in a very high level in his development of concentration, but it is not nirvana.
Not nirvana, no.
He examined, it is afterwards he found it is concept, and he got away from it. He also had got it under the teacher, Brahmin teacher, Alara Kalama and Uddakarama Buddha, the first two teachers.
Yes.
He taught them. It is the same Vedantic idea. It was existing even at that time. But it not very clear. Then long after this Shankaracharya appeared, he borrowed the terms from Buddha's teachings, and he gave life to that idea.
Yes. I suppose really the speed, the quickness, the speed that everything changes gives one the impression that there is something changeless there that doesn't change. It appears to be permanent because it's changing so fast.
Yes.
Like a waterfall.
Yes. It is just like a cinema picture.
Yes. So we imagine there is a changeless self behind us because it's changing so fast.
Yes.
Yes, the speed of it.
In a cinema picture you see one same person running and playing and so on.
Yes.
If you carefully examine it, is a series of pictures.
Yes.
The shadow, the reflection of the pictures fallen on the screen.
On the screen. So the speed that it is changing, also the consciousness is changing at a fast.
Yes, fast, according to certain order.
Yes.
Yes, very fast.
So consciousness appears to be static, unchanging, because it is changing so fast, so swiftly. Yes. That's the difference that Buddha must have seen. Yes. Cool. They say that all religions lead to the same goal, but when I look into the teachings, they don't lead to the same goal. They're very, very different.
One day I asked one Ramakrishna teacher, Ramakrishna Swami. They are very friendly with me in Sri Lanka, in Balangoda. There is a Ramakrishna headquarters in Sri Lanka. I used to go there.
I know the Ramakrishna monks. Yes.
They are my friends. From the very beginning, I had some contact with them. Every time, once a week at least, I used to go and read their books. And one day I asked him, well, you say the nirvana, or Brahma nirvana, is the origin. The world is emanation. Living beings are emanations from that one same universal consciousness. The origin is there. Origin is the universal consciousness, oneness, one conscious supreme soul. So we are the emanations and evolved to human beings now. Again, when we develop ourselves, we go back to the same. That is, you say, final. Well, now we have come from the same. If we have come from the same and go back to the same, is it not possible again for us to come back here? Then how can you call it final freedom? I asked them. Final end. Then he said, well, the same question was asked from Swami Vivekananda, but he said it is a mystery. He couldn't explain it.
No. Swami Vivekananda, yes, couldn't be explained.
And in Arya Samaj teacher, He was a Vedic teacher. His name is Swami Sadananda or somebody. He published a book in Hindi and it has been translated to English under the name of Mirror of Truth. Very huge book explaining the whole Veda and Vedanta. There he says, we Vedic people and Vedantic, for us there is no eternal freedom. If anybody says that our freedom is eternal, it is wrong according to Veda. It is a temporary freedom. We, being in samsara, being round away, but we go back to the same origin. And we take rest for a long time there. Again, we don't know when we return, we come back to this, to experience this world and go back to. So it is a restaurant, something like a rest house for the beings. This is the nature of the world. Apart from this, there is nothing. This is the Vedic teaching. He explains.
See, yes. So basically, all religions are different.
Yes.
They cannot take you to the same goal.
When they come to the final point, they are different.
Yes. Yes.